Okay. So I decided that I was going to make a book about kids who and young people who are making a difference. But of course, I didn't know anybody. So then I had to find kids. So I went on social media and I started seeking young
You
people
had
out
some.
that were doing things to make a difference in the world. And I found so many kids that I ended up doing 7 books instead of one, which is just amazing. And I just keep getting people keep sending me more and more young people who are making a difference. And you guys, the change makers who are here and the ones that are in the books are just so inspiring to me. This has been such an incredible project, like just me meeting you virtually and interviewing you and writing about you in the book has just really encouraged me and inspired me. And I've heard over and over again from people who have read the book that they're just blown away by your stories. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to share your stories in my book series. Okay, so I'm done droning on. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it on mute and we're gonna keep the chat open. And I'm gonna give away 5 books tonight. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of ask questions, and if you can answer in the chat, then I'm gonna try really hard to multitask and write down who answered, and then I will let you know who wins the books. So I got the first book. Has anybody received this book yet in the mail? Has anybody gotten their book? Yay! That's awesome. Ryan, what do you think? Do you like it? Yeah?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay, good. So this book was, so I was a little bit nervous because I ordered the books from the printer, and some of you might know that the supply chain all over the world is delayed right now because of certain situations. And so I was like, I have no clue when I'm going to get these books. I hope I get them before Christmas. And I was really happy that I got this one last week. And then book 2, I hopefully will be getting in the next few weeks here, and I can send that out to you. And book 3 is currently being printed, so I'm hoping to get that one before Christmas too. So my first question for you is, I just want you to put in the chat, and a lot of you are already doing it, put where you're from so I can see who we have here. So we have somebody from Australia. That is awesome. Braden's here. Yay. Hi, Braden. Idaho. Oh, he used to live in St. Paul. Awesome. St. Paul's a cool city. It's about a half hour from where I live. And let's see, you've got New Jersey and California. Is the weather pretty nice in California right now? Yeah. Today it was, we talk about the weather a lot in Minnesota because we have weird, crazy weather here, and it's like a topic of conversation. And so today it was 40, and it did not snow yet, but it's going to snow tomorrow, we think. So winter is officially going to be starting here pretty soon, but it was like 70 last weekend. It was weird. Texas, yeehaw. Hi, Jason. Let's see, Kansas, you're pretty close. You're pretty close to me, somewhat. Midwest, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Liam. Hi, Liam. Bryce is from Michigan. Yep. Bethany's here from Georgia. Awesome. New York, Canada. We have people from all over the place. Texas, California. Oh, I already said that. California again. Hi, Justin. And yeah, Michigan, Maryland, and California. All right. New York, Connecticut. Oh my gosh. North Carolina, Illinois. Oh, there's 2 from Illinois. Oh, Olivia and Izzy. Cool. You guys are both from the Chicago area. 90 degrees. Seriously? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I can't even fathom 90 degrees right now. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the mute open, and I will write down everybody who answered to win the first book giveaway. So what I wanted to do, if possible, I wanted to just kind of, if it's okay with the change makers, and if you don't want to talk, you don't have to, but I thought it'd be really cool if the change makers would just say like who you are, what your name is, where you're from, maybe how old you are, if you don't mind. And, you know, kids usually don't mind saying how old they are. Adults sometimes don't like to, but just kind of say your name, your age, where you're from, and like tell us a little bit about yourself. Like tell us, you know, your story. You can tell us about anything that you're doing right now, like what you enjoy doing in your spare time, what you've done to make a difference. So does anybody, should we just kind of who has to get off kind of early tonight? Don't you, Bethany, have to kind of go? Is Bethany okay to share with the group what she's doing?
Okay, go ahead.
All righty. Hi, Bethany.
And where do you live?
In Savannah,
And how old are you? Where?
7.
Mhm.
7.
And she does Bethany's Happy Bags. And how long have you been doing it for? How many years?
2 years.
And how many bags have we given away? Do you know? It's a big
Um,
number, so. Do you remember?
No idea.
So we've done 2,352 bags, mostly in the past year. And we've got another 300 going out for Thanksgiving, so. And she
That-
gives those bags out to the homeless. They're distributed. Who are they distributed through?
Hanukkah.
Who are they distributed through?
Um,
The Homeless Authority here and then some shelters. So why did you start it?
because I saw a homeless person on the side of the road and I wanted to help them.
Yeah,
Good girl.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what can you tell, maybe you already answered it, but what goes into the bags? What do you put in the bags, Bethany?
Okay,
She's got
I have
here. You show them the bag.
a bag here.
Okay,
We can take it apart.
We put in a mask, some baby wipes. We make a first aid kit. We use a small bag. We two small band-aids, toothpaste, soap, some what's the name of it?
Like some ointment.
Some ointment,
Advil.
Advil, and one big band-aid.
What else?
We do tuna packets. We also do.
Hand warmers.
We do like hand warmers every once in a while.
Like it's
Wow.
cold, right?
Yeah.
What about this?
We always put socks in them. Gatorade,
okay, right, that's good.
water with a flavoring packet, raisins,
Oh my goodness.
fruit cup,
Never.
a toothbrush, emergency blanket, peanut butter, some crackers, a fork, and then we always put a note in it.
Oh, what does the note say?
It says we care. Sometimes we do like you can do hard things. Sometimes you will never forgotten. Like
Oh,
that.
that's really neat. I really like that note of encouragement because I'm sure a lot of people feel like people don't care, or that nobody really knows them and they're lonely and kind of sad. So that's really great that you do that. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Now, Bethany, you're going to be in, I'm checking my list here because I don't have the kids memorized which book they're going to be in. So Bethany, you're going to be in, do you know off the top of your head, or should I I'm trying to scan here and look. You're going to be in book 4, it looks like. So that one will be coming out this spring. Yay, so exciting. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask Bethany about, how she got started or how she's doing it, or, if you can put it in the chat or you can just unmute yourself and ask. Does anybody want to ask anything? Bethany, what do you like to do in your spare time? What grade are you in this year? Second grade. I love second grade. I taught second grade for a long time. What do you like to do when you're not putting together your bags?
Sometimes we do notes.
No, what do you like to do in your free time? Just for fun. Color. What else?
I play with
Outside.
my brother.
Be outside.
The outside.
All right, great. Well, thank you for sharing, Bethany. Does anybody want to ask Bethany anything before we move on to the next person? Thank you so much for taking the time to be here, Bethany. Does somebody have a question? I thought somebody was going to say something. Damien wants to know, Bethany, why did you decide, not Damien, I'm sorry. Ryan wants to know, why did you decide to do this?
Because That's well, because I thought they needed help. I thought they needed something.
So one thing about Savannah is because it's warm, we get a lot of people here. I grew up in New York. I went to the city a lot. But I just never saw anything like this, that, you know, at that point, a 5-year-old would notice the amount of people experiencing homelessness. Every road, there's somebody standing. And you ask them why they're here. Sometimes they say that other towns brought them to Savannah and dropped them off.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And other times they know that it's warmer here, you know, it can get pretty cold, but they're not gonna freeze, you know, like other places. So it attracts a lot of people that need help. So she saw it and it was breaking her heart. So we decided we had to come up with something to do. So she came up with this idea.
Yeah, and for somebody that young to notice them and feel that compassion, but then also want to do something about it and then actually take that step is pretty amazing, pretty awesome. So
yeah, and she does not just the happy bags, but she also volunteers other places too, right?
Like a food pantry.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Good for you,
Yeah.
Bethany. Did you find, somebody wants to know, did you find business sponsors to help you get all of the items for your bags, or how do you do that?
Well, what does she mean, Mom?
Like businesses that contribute. Not really. So what about the socks? The socks are from who?
Bombas, it's a big sock company.
Oh,
So they supply all of our socks. She's actually on their website right now because they came out with Disney Princess socks. And they were recognizing her and then 2 other kids that were doing good things in their community. So she's on their website for that, but they give us whatever we need as far as socks. Everything else, how does it show up?
We have a wish list that we use of stuff we need.
So the Amazon wish list, everything comes that way.
yeah, that's a good
Oh,
idea.
and then who packs the bags?
Oh, my brother's school.
And what's special about his school? All the kids have what?
Autism.
So it helps that they love it. They actually offered to do it. It wasn't something that I approached them about. And they just love the order that goes into it. And then it teaches them about inventory and communication, and things like that. And they try to sneak in there.
That's
so they
great.
can pack bags. So yeah, and then we throw them pizza parties to thank them and do fun things for them.
One time we did eat thing.
Yeah. Oh.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Liam wants to know, Bethany, is there one special moment with someone that you remember while giving out your bags? Like, is there any kind of special moment that you remember, like when you were passing a bag to somebody?
There's Michelle or there's Bird. Remember Bird?
Michelle.
Tell them about Michelle. Where does she live?
She lives at
Nahuel, que te subas a lavar los dientes, que es hora de ir a dormir.
Sorry about that.
Right.
Okay, continue.
So Michelle lives where?
in
At where?
library.
So she lives outside of the library that Bethany goes to. And we pass by it a lot, so she sees her, right? And so sometimes we bring her dinner, something warm for her to eat, right? And
It's been super cold here, so she's been sleeping next, like on the brick.
up against the library because the bricks hold the heat,
Oh.
from the sun, right? So we got her a special blanket. And she goes to college at the library. She takes online courses. So even though she's homeless, she's still trying to better herself.
Wow.
But Bethany loves her. So
Oh,
yeah.
that is really cool. That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing, Bethany. All right. Thank you so much. Who would like to go next? Do we have any volunteers? Ava, do you want to go? Hi, Ava. Ava, where are you? Where are you again now?
I live in Durham and North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, so it's what, 8:45 there about?
That's 8:40. It's 8:48.
Okay. Okay, so this is Ava. So Ava, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
My name is Ava the STEM Princess, and I'm Arizona and a kidpreneur. And what I do is I make fun, engaging STEM videos. And what I'm doing right now is I'm releasing my new STEM cutie collection and my new lab truck. And I collaborate with bigger brands. And I help kids learn STEM and how they can do experiments using STEM all day. And
That's
tell
really
them
cool. Yeah.
and improve their math and reading literacy by using STEM.
That's great. Yeah, because I remember when I was asking you, when I interviewed you and when I was writing your feature, you were saying that not a lot of kids in school, you were surprised that some kids don't enjoy science and experiments, and you really like that. So you're trying to encourage more kids to enjoy science, right? With your YouTube channel and doing experiments and things like that. Yes? Can you tell me about what were you saying about a lab truck? What's that all about?
So I'm gonna be getting it's kind of like a food truck and an ice cream truck mixed together, but it's gonna have like my lab experiments and stuff. And then I'm going to ring a bell and open up the window, and little kids are gonna come and I'm gonna do experiments with them.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. That's really neat. When are you gonna start that?
The next time I go out to the country to do experiments with other kids.
Okay, that's really neat. That's very cool. That's a very cool idea. Okay, did you want to say anything else? Ava, what grade are you in this year?
What did she say?
She said, what grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
3rd grade. Okay. And you started doing your experiments when you were how old? How old were you when you did your YouTube, when you started doing your videos?
I was 7.
7. Okay. Gosh, that's just amazing. When I was 7, I was playing Barbies. Which there's nothing wrong with, but just put it in perspective what some of these kids are doing. Okay, who has questions? Anybody have questions for Ava? Let's see here. I'm looking in the chat here. Oliver wants to know, what's your favorite experiment to do?
My favorite experiment is the acid-base reaction because I get to see it explode and see the colors, and I get to see everything mixed together with the colors.
That's really cool.
So first you need vinegar, you need baking soda, you need dish soap, and you need food coloring. And what the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pour all your vinegar into the bottle. Then you're gonna pour in your food coloring and your dish soap, and then you put in your baking soda, and that's the big time, and then it all explodes.
So how do you find out do you read books that give you ideas about which experiments that you're going to do on your channel, or how do you find out like what you're actually going to do?
Sometimes I look on YouTube or I read books to see what I can find and look for experiments, so then we can do them, and that's how I make my YouTube channel.
Awesome. So Bryce wants to know, what was the messiest experiment you have done? That's a good question.
Well, the most messiest one was the acid-base reaction.
Okay.
Because what happened was when all the stuff went everywhere, it actually went everywhere. Like it started leaking off the table and it went on the floor, and it's very messy because the food coloring and the foam and everything goes everywhere. We have to place mats on the table so it doesn't like stain it. So
I bet you loved it though, didn't you?
I like mixing the colors together.
Yeah. Let's see, Teresa, how did you get connected with the brands that you collaborate with? What do you mean by that, Teresa?
I can answer that. I can answer that as her mom.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, thank you.
So what basically happens, I'm sorry you don't see my body, but it's kind of the Ava show here, so
You
Um,
come ahead, come ahead,
okay.
come ahead.
she's allowing me, her gracious assistant. So what basically happens is as Ava goes out and do things, or as Ava releases videos, a lot of people will begin to see her on social media, and some people may actually reach out to her and say, hey, can you do this for me? And that's, she can do a collaboration that way. Or a lot of times we will reach out to others on LinkedIn. So Ava has a LinkedIn page and also a LinkedIn business page. And if there's brands like Arm & Hammer or things like that, she will reach out to their brand managers and just ask them, hey, I'm doing these experiments. Can you sponsor us and give us baking soda? Would you like to be a donor to Ava's nonprofit organization?
Great, thank you. Ava, somebody wants to know what the patches are on your jacket.
The patches.
The patches are the symbol of STEM. So this is my my nonprofit, and this is my lab coat, and I make these right here. I designed these. I love designing my own stuff. So I designed my own jacket, and we pressed these on here. And this is my logo for Team Genius Squad and the symbol of science.
That's great, that's
Wait,
awesome.
math pi sign?
Yeah, math pi sign.
Math pi sign.
Oh yeah. What is your YouTube channel name?
Ava the STEM Princess or Team Genius Squad.
Okay, so they're both the same channel, just two different names? Or do you have two different channels?
The main name is Ava the STEM Princess, but when it comes up, it may show Team Genius Squad.
Okay. Put that in here. Okay, Bethany wants to know if you do experiments with food.
Well, I don't really do experiments with food.
You do. Your lemon light is best food. I know it doesn't feel like it. Tell them about your lemon light. I know. Tell them about the lemon light experiment.
Well, I do use food like the lemons. So what I did was I took copper and
Little zinc pieces.
I took copper and zinc, and I put them with alligator wires and connected them. And then I took a tiny light with a little strip and connected them. And I made the light blow up. And then like you could see the light. When you turn off the lights, it like makes more light. So when you ever need like light and the light goes out, you can at least use your lemons and your copper stuff. And then you just put it together and it gives you light.
And where can they find, you have a lab kit, so where can they find your lab kit for that?
At teamunisquad.com. That is my store where you can find all my products and what I make.
That's really cool. I didn't know you could use a lemon to make light. So there you go. I learned something today. You got to learn something new every day. Well, thank you so much, Ava, for sharing. It's so awesome that we could hear about all the cool things that you're doing to encourage kids to enjoy science and school and learning and all of that. So thank you so much for that, Ava. And Oliver, I think, wants to go next. If you have to leave soon or you want to go in a certain order, just put your name in the chat or a private message me in the chat and let me know if you want to be the next person. But Oliver, why don't you tell us about yourself?
So my name is Oliver and I'm 9 years old and I collect pajamas for kids in need. So when I first started, our preschool teacher asked us to bring in a pair of pajamas and she explained why. And I went home feeling very bad for all those other people. And I asked my parents if we could buy 100 pairs. And they said, no, we can't, but we can certainly set up a donation. And I've been doing it for the past 6 years.
That's great. So what grade are you in this year? Fourth grade. So you started doing it when you were how old again?
4.
4. Oh my gosh. That's really awesome. That's very cool. So can you share now, you're collecting donations and then you have the pajamas at your house. Is that them behind you in your house?
We have a lot behind us.
So what do you do with all of them then?
So we donate to like places like DCF, Catholic churches and other like places where people need stuff.
We go to a lot of
And
schools.
we go to a lot of schools.
Mhm. That's great. That's really cool. That's nice that you're doing that. Does anybody want to ask Oliver anything about what he's doing? And Oliver, your project, is it, my memory is going to fail me, but is it Oliver's Pajama Project? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, easy to remember. That's good. So you have a Facebook page that kind of tells
Yep.
what you're doing. So if anybody wants to learn more, and Oliver, I believe you're going to be in book 3. Okay. All right. Oliver, do you have a website somebody wants to know, or should they go to your Facebook page if they want to read more about it?
Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I'll put it in the chat for him right now.
okay, awesome. Braden wants to know how many pajamas you have collected and given away so far. Do you have that number? Because I know you start. I have the number in my email somewhere, but I don't know if I could find it off the top of my head.
So far, like past years, like all together.
Do you want to know all together, Braden, or do you want to know just like this year?
It doesn't really matter. Oh, so right now, my goal is 6,500 pairs this year, and we've passed that in all of the years combined
So the last 5 years, how many of you donated?
at
Over what?
over 6,500.
So you've donated over 6,500 in the past 5 years, and then your goal for this year alone is 6,500.
Yes.
So you're just collecting more and more and more pajamas every year. Basically, you're trying to like raise the bar every year for how many you can give away to people. That's great. Good for you. All right. Let's see. Did you want to mention anything else before we move on? Of course, everybody wants to go next. So I'm just gonna.
Oh, so we have a pod in the driveway for all of the pajamas.
Oh, okay. So you have a pot, like a container,
a-
here.
Like a moving pod.
Oh, okay. So you can keep them all in there. Because I was gonna say, if I tried to keep 6,000 pairs of pajamas in my house, I don't know. That would be a little bit. That would be a lot to keep in your house like that, right? So do you package them up at all, or do you just like bring them to different places?
Who do you work with? Tell her like what order you work with.
So like,
Pajama.
oh, so I work with the pajama program.
Junior ambassador.
I'm a junior ambassador,
I don't want me to be. Can you put?
and they tell us where the pajamas go.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about yet.
Sorry, somebody is not muted and I'm trying to figure out who it is. This is always tricky.
But we have 2 dogs right now that are playing on the floor behind
Oh.
us. Could be part of it.
Okay.
Kathy is not muted.
Kathy. where is-
Kathy's iPhone.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. I don't even see a button to mute her. I think she muted herself. Okay. So thank you, Oliver, for sharing. Thank you so much for being part of the series. So nice to meet you on Zoom here, and nice to see you too, Danielle. Sort of face to face. I feel like I know the parents and the kids already, but I have never met them. But it just talking about them and learning about them and writing about them has been amazing. So Bryce, did you want to go next? And then after Bryce, let's see. I feel like I'm going to mispronounce names, and I really hope I don't. But is it Kalia? Tell me how to pronounce your name, hun.
Hi, I'm Kalia.
Kalia. Okay, you can go after Bryce, okay? Is that okay? Okay, go ahead, Bryce. Tell us about yourself and what you're doing.
So
Where you're from and all that.
I'm Bryce Toby, and I raise money for a organization called Relay for Life, the American Cancer Society, and I've been doing that since I was 4. And from what I was told, since honestly at times I can't remember this, but I saw my cousins my first year at Relay, when I was 4,
Three.
sorry, 3, I saw my cousins and their mom crying while putting out bags with fake candles,
Luminaries. with
luminary candles.
Okay.
And I asked my mom, "Why are they crying?"
candles. He's
His
pointing
exact
over at me.
word.
He asked me, why are they crying? Because he had helped him put out luminaries prior and no one was crying. And then his cousins put out these 3 that were for my aunt, his great aunt, and they were crying. So I had to come up with a way of explaining death to a 3-year-old
Yeah, I don't know what death is, and I'm not very.
because she had passed away in December and this was in June. So, I had basically broke it down to they have alleys in their hearts because, the aunt is an angel instead of being here with us.
So my exact words is, I don't want others to have to sit there and have alleys in their hearts. So when I was 4, I was in preschool, and for show and tell, I brought in one of my mom's collection tins, which are now used for the Relay for Life item drive. So the first year we go in, I showed off, and then we asked, "Hey, can we put it here?" Like, sure. And then we come back about
2 weeks.
2 weeks later, the whole entire thing was full.
Wow.
And then when I was in first grade,
Okay.
yeah,
Kindergarten.
sorry, in kindergarten, I asked my school, that is the Walton Charter Academy, can I help this organization? And they were sure. And
Yeah, for 5, 6
I
years.
did that for 6 years, except for last year because
Oh,
of
6 years.
6 years. And so when I did it, it was very good. And then in later years, when I started joining scouting, I thought of the idea of having the scouts help out at Relay. So then we created the team called Scouts for a Cure, which is Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, every
Brownies.
type of brownies, all these types of scouts join together in one group to help.
That's great. That's awesome. So, Relay for Life. Can you tell us, maybe I'm the only one who doesn't know this, but can you tell me exactly like what the
Right.
foundation does? Is it just is
So
it a charity that does research for heart
So-
problems or?
So Relay for Life helps people
It's
with.
a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser for
American
American Cancer
Cancer
Society. Which the
Oh,
American
okay.
Cancer Society helps with every type of cancer.
Okay.
Some people
So
call it-
you're raising money for that fundraising chapter that helps people with
yeah.
that are struggling with cancer. Okay. That's great. And what grade are you in this year, Bryce?
I'm in 8th grade at new school.
8th grade. Okay. And where are you from again?
I'm from Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. So you've been doing this now for about
9 years.
9 years?
Yep.
That's great. And you have plans to keep doing it then every year?
I have, except 2 years ago when that
COVID.
with COVID, and also the year before that at Walton Charter Academy, they said no.
Well,
Okay.
It also got hidden by COVID, but still they did say no. And then when I switched to new school, I did ask, and I have yet to get a response.
Okay, well, good luck. I hope you can keep doing it and good for you. Does anybody have any questions for Bryce? Go ahead and put it in the chat. And thank you, Bryce, for sharing and for being a part of this book series and inspiring others to help people. Appreciate talking to you and it's nice to meet you.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's move to, thank you for being so patient, everybody. Kaylia, go ahead and share all about yourself and your story.
Thank you. My name is Kaylia. I'm 15 and I'm the director and producer of the animated short film, The Power of Hope. And recently I inked a TV deal with Surfing Giant Studios to for an animated TV series. I wanted to become a filmmaker, so I could inspire other young people like me, other young girls to get into filmmaking and see more representation both on screen and behind the scenes.
That's great. That's really cool. So you're really following your dream of being a filmmaker at such a young age. And how old were you when you got this film out there? You were 13 or 14?
Yes, I was 13.
13. Okay. So yeah, I was Kaylee's in the first book. So you can read it. If you have the first book, you can read her story in there. But I was reading about it, just the things that she had to do. You had to find all these different people to help you with the film, right? Like the I can't even remember off the top of my head, but mixers and artists and a whole bunch of different, and you went to like a college or something at such a young age, and you were trying to find college students to help you with the project.
Yes, we needed to find a crew. So me and my dad, we'd go out to colleges and we'd ask around and like wait outside the classes and ask the teachers and students. And it was really hard to find a crew because I felt like people weren't willing to take me seriously because I was 13. But we finally did find some people who were willing to work with us, and we worked together on The Power of Hope.
Yeah, that would just be really intimidating, I feel like, for me as a 13-year-old to go to a college and like just try to talk to college students and pitch my idea. So I give you a lot of credit for being so brave like that and doing that. So does anybody have any questions that they want to ask Kaylee? So you had your idea, you got your crew, how did you know like what to do? Did you just do a bunch of research on how to produce a film, or how did you know, like as an author, I didn't know anything about writing books and publishing books. So I had to do a whole bunch of research and learn how to do it. Did you kind of have to go through the same process with producing the film?
Yeah, and The Power of Hope was just like a huge learning experience for me. I learned a lot about filmmaking, and I'm still continuing to learn. And I've met a lot of new people and have learned so much from all the new people I've met along in my journey.
That's great. So does anybody want to ask Kaylee anything about, so yeah, that's a great question. Somebody wants to know, where can we watch your film? I've watched it, by the way, and it's amazing. So, and it's won a lot of awards too, you guys. So where can we watch your film?
Thank you. On my Instagram, there is a link in my bio to watch the film. The Power of Hope film is my Instagram, and also Kaylee Love Jones.
Okay, so they can find you both places on Instagram and watch your film there.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for letting me tell your story, Kaylee, and for being here and taking your time to be here and tell us about your journey. And what are your future plans? Are you going to continue to make more films?
Yes, I definitely plan to continue. And I've been learning a lot. And I recently sold or inked a TV deal with Surfing Giant Studios, and I'm planning to continue with that. And I'm really excited for the future.
Great. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. That's amazing. All right. Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you. Okay, so I'm gonna have you guys put in the chats. I was telling people earlier, I'm giving away 5 books tonight. The second book, I just want to know, what are you most passionate about? Are you most passionate about helping people? Are you most passionate about helping animals? Are you passionate about helping the environment? And not just for the change makers, everybody who's here, I'm just curious to know, or do you have something else that you're passionate about? Or are you passionate about like everything? Like for me, as I read these kids' stories, I'm like, oh gosh, I want to do that. And I want to do this. And I feel like, and then I get overwhelmed and I don't do anything. So a lot of the kids' advice was really good. It was like, start small, just do one thing. Because it can be a little overwhelming, I think, for me anyway, that I want to do everything and then I don't do anything. So that's just really good advice. Okay, so go ahead and put in the chat what you're passionate about. And I'm going to pick somebody who answers that question to win a book. And I'm going to look in my chat here and see who is going to be next here. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This is just so fun for me to talk to these people, these young people face to face here. Okay, so how about a ballet? Did I say that right? Hopefully.
It's a ballet.
A ballet, a ballet.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to go next? Hi.
Sure. Hi.
Nice
So,
to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I'm a ballet Ezekiel, and long story short, I'm 13 years old and I live in New Jersey, more specifically Cherry Hill.
Okay.
So basically I have been working on mainly education, and trying to get further Black education and just more inclusive education in all backgrounds and religions and to school and to learning, because I feel like we have a very repetitive, we learn the same things and it's very repetitively. It's all, whether it be Christopher Columbus that we learn every year, or whether it be about slave trading and all of that. But I think that it's so incredibly important to, number one, learn about how that affected people, but to acknowledge the fact that it's not only slavery that makes up Black history, but it makes up, number one, American history, but to get to the actual root of it. And again, not just Black education, but in everything. I have, so around, I want to say I started this when I was 11. And I think I want to say last year, I passed a law basically mandating Black education in order to pass high school, again, to get into college. So as of right now, a couple of high schools in my district it's mandatory to take a Black education class in order to pass high school in the first place. So you would have to continue retaking your senior year in order to pass high school unless you pass this class. So I think that's really, really cool. And then I've also been working more recently on school dress codes and just the inclusivity of it. I have been on The Soul of Nation, which is a nationwide TV show just about different activists. And I think that, I'm incredibly honored to, number one, be in this book, be in volume 5 in the first place, but number one, to be compared to all of you guys, because just listening to a few of you guys' stories, I think it's really, really cool and really awe-inspiring. But again, as I said earlier, I was working on dress codes. I'm the president of Youth Empowerment at Rise Against Hate, which is a nonprofit organization. I am also working on a book series called The Most Important Words Have 4 Letters. And I'm also have written a chapter on a book called Dear Racism, which is actually being written by my mother. So I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Can you tell me more about the school dress codes? What do you mean by inclusive school dress codes?
Right. So one thing that I've noticed in school is that, or that's something that's repetitively mentioned, is that, don't show your shoulders or don't have any of that skin and all that stuff. And I think that when you come back and you sit down and you ask your teachers or you ask your principals, like, okay, what's the real issue behind it? It's, oh yeah, it's distracting, or, oh yeah, boys these days and all of that. And I think it's really important to, number one, that it's very stereotypical to, number one, assume that that's something that a boy would be interested in, but also, number two, to assume that a girl couldn't be interested in the same thing. Because one thing that I have noticed is that the no shoulder rules, it doesn't apply to boys, or the 3 finger wide sleeves also doesn't apply to boys. And I think that it's really important that, number one, we do realize that we can't categorize in the way that we think. I think that's really important, because as a society, we try and box a lot of things in. And I think that we try and make people's views and make people's looks, all of that, into something that we, I guess, normalize as normal. And I think that's not even us as people's faults, but even some of the things that we see on TV, like one issue I was reading on the other day, which I thought was actually really interesting and very eye-opening, was that, like, for instance, Disney princesses, the way that, you know, their body shaped, which links them back to as to how a princess should look. It's really cool because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what gives little girls insecurities. Moving on, so I think that dress codes, but then again, working on society in the first place. So education society is what I'm working on the most.
You are just so well spoken. You're like blowing me away with just what grade are you in this year?
I'm in 8th grade.
Oh my gosh. It's just amazing talking to you and hearing you talk about all of these things that you're researching and reading about and then taking steps to change. Is just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing and for allowing me to tell your story in the book series. I really, really appreciate you being here. Did anybody want to ask her any questions before we move on? I'm just seeing a lot of, you're amazing, so awesome, good job. You're doing wonderful things. I agree. So we have, thank you so much. We have Olivia who asked to go next, and then Justin, and then Liam. So thanks for being patient, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's hard to wait. Okay, so Olivia, where are you on here? I have to find you. Oh, there you are. Okay, Olivia, hi. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Olivia Olson, and I live in Evanston, Illinois. It's a suburb just outside of Chicago. So sometimes I like to say I live in Chicago. But I'm 14 years old and a freshman in high school. And first, I just want to say that all the things you guys have said you've done are just amazing. But I've been involved in volunteering since I was around 5 because my parents are very involved in it. And so my mom would get me in projects and stuff like that, helping with homeless, writing cards and stuff like that when I was younger. But then when I was 10, I started my own project to raise money for breast cancer research and through lemonade stands and cookie stands. So it's called like Olivia's Pink Lemonade and Pink Ribbon Cookies sales stands. So I've done 4 of those to date, and I'm 14 now, so about one every year, except for last year because of COVID. So in about a month ago, I had my most recent stand, and with online sales and donations and in person, I've raised over $12,000 for breast cancer research and given it to my local cancer center. But I'm also involved in other projects. So when COVID hit, I started tutoring local kids in my area for free over Zoom, stuff like that, and also doing the YouTube channel. And then I started my new project that I'm still continuing called Hygiene Kits for Evanston's Underserved. And so I have around 2,000 kits delivered. And so I give them out at, like other people have said, churches, local projects, grassroots projects, things like that. But my kits are mostly just like hygiene items. So yeah.
Wow, you are a busy person doing a lot of things. How much time does this take to do all of these different projects? Do you have time for homework and free time too?
Yeah, actually. So during the school year, like since I started high school, I've lessened a little because just trying to balance like the new school. But I mostly do a lot of my like making the kits and stuff on the weekends, so it doesn't interfere that much. But then I also do sports, so that's more like hard. And I'm on a board for sports, like called Girls Play Sports, and we help get girls involved in sports in our area and stuff like that. So
that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, did anybody want to ask Olivia any questions? Or Olivia, do you want to share anything else? Or does anybody, Olivia, I'm just seeing a lot of comments about you're doing great things and keep up the work, keep up the good work. So yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just takes one person to do one thing, right? And you're doing a lot of things and helping a lot of people. So great work, Olivia. And thank you for letting me feature you in my book. I'm super excited to write about your story and get it out there so that you can inspire more people to get out there and help. Oh, somebody
you.
wants to know what your YouTube channel is.
I forget the name of it. Do you know? It's kind of like subsided right now, so I don't have like a ton of videos posted. I'm hoping to get back to it though, because I do have Olivia's learning lessons, but people have given me like books to read, so I should get on that, but But for
Well-
like the hygiene kits, like my mom was just saying, for like the hygiene kits stuff, we have a Facebook page and Instagram, so you can find us there.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing,
Thank you for
Olivia.
doing this. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank you. Okay, next giveaway is gonna be, I want you to put in the chat your favorite animal. And I know that's weird, but the reason I'm asking you to put that in the chat is because the next person up is Justin. And Justin, Justin replied right away, frogs. Justin's favorite animal is frogs. And that is what kind of inspired him to get going on what he's doing. And he's going to share that with us now. So Justin, welcome. It's nice to meet you here on Zoom. Do you want to tell us about yourself and how old you are and where you're from and how you got started and how frogs kind of, your love of frogs just kind of like inspired you to get out there and make a difference?
Hi, my name is Justin and I'm 11 years old and I'm from Carlsbad, California. And I always loved frogs since I was 3 years old because I read a book called What You Do with an Idea.
Yep.
And I read this book called What Do You Do with an Idea.
Oh yes. Yep. I've seen that one.
And I just wanted to make my own idea. So I started helping the frogs. And I learned that frogs are becoming extinct from pollution and pesticides. And frogs are becoming deformed, which means that they're growing extra legs or extra eyes and stuff. So I am working with Reserva, and that's an organization that's helping the rainforest. So so far I have raised 30 acres of land in Ecuador for other animals. And I got to go to this Ecuador last summer and it was really cool. And I'm protecting all these land and trees. So protecting the trees in Ecuador because of climate change for one reason. And I don't want all these animals like homes to get cut down. So I learned a fact about the rainforest. Did you know almost half of the world's rainforests have been destroyed and they could disappear in 100 years? So
Yeah, that's really sad. And didn't you just get back from a trip to the rainforest like a month ago?
I last summer, and I got to see all these different frogs, like a Chachi tree frog and
That's really
a lot
cool.
of other ones.
So through Reserva, you're raising money, and then the money that you're raising actually goes to like protect a certain amount of acreage of the rainforest, so it won't get cut down. So you're basically raising money to like preserve the rainforest, which I think is so awesome. So, I mean, there's a lot of species of frogs that live in the rainforest. Do you know how many species of frogs live in the rainforest?
I don't know how much live in the rainforest, but I know there's over 5,000 different types of frogs.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's really neat. And I didn't know that frogs, now I'm going to try to remember what this is called, because so Justin's in the first book. So if you have this book, you can read his story. Frogs are an indicator species, right? So
Yes.
Justin taught me that. I didn't know that. So that basically means that however the environment is doing around them kind of shows up in their like body, right? So if they're thriving, that means their environment is thriving too, right? But if they're sick and they're deformed, then something's happening in their environment to make them that way. So that's kind of how you learned about that the environment's not doing well because of pollution, because these frogs are deformed.
And then I also got to meet Dr. Jane Goodall.
Oh, awesome. I bet that was just amazing. How did you, where'd you meet her?
In San Francisco.
Okay. So was it at like a conference or something?
Yeah, it was for all these different people to share what they're doing to help the planet, to share to her. And this was only when I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
And she told me that by 2050 there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish
What? Seriously?
if we don't stop polluting. So
Oh, gosh, yes. Yeah, Carol says, thank you for being a leader on helping our environment. I agree. Our environment does need help, and you're doing a lot of inspiring things to help. Somebody wants to know, Justin, Bryce wants to know, what is the rarest frog you have seen? Do you know the answer to that question?
I don't know if there's a type of frog that's more like rarer than the other one, but I did get to see ruby poison dart frog, which was kind of looks like this and
Okay.
but
Oh,
darker. This is a strawberry poison dart frog.
have you seen one of those out in nature?
No, I only got to see the ruby poison dart frog when I went last to Ecuador, and the chachi tree frog, which
That's neat. Now you didn't touch them though, right?
yeah, you can touch them. Only don't eat them. The poison dart frogs, they have their colorful colors to scare away the animals, and if like anyone tries to eat the frog, they would like kill them by poison.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is one type of frog that there's types of frogs that you should not hold. I think there's like this one frog that it's like super small, and it's a yellow, and it's like a golden super small frog, and I think it could kill up to 16 people on just them touching it. So.
Yeah, I have read about frogs like that where they're so poisonous that if you just touch it, you won't survive. So that's just, and the tiny little frog like that too, but luckily they have bright colors. So hopefully people and animals will
Yeah.
stay away. Well, thank you for sharing, Justin, and for being a part of the book series and for all the wonderful things you're doing to help the frogs and the environment and the rainforest. Thanks for being here too. We're going to move on to Liam. Thank you for being patient, Liam. You've been here since the beginning, and go ahead, Liam, and tell us all about yourself, where you're from, how old you are, and what you've been up to.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Liam Hannon. I'm 14. I'm a freshman in high school, and almost 5 years ago, I started my project Liam's Lunches of Love, where basically every Sunday I go out and I make food for people experiencing homelessness. And it all started because back almost 5 years ago, that summer, I didn't want to go to summer camp. I told my dad that. He said, you can't just stay home and do nothing all summer. So we looked for some things to do. And we found this website called Brain Chase. It's an online treasure hunt where basically you choose a few different subjects or categories, and every week you get different challenges to do, which give you clues and help you find the treasure that's buried somewhere in the world. And one of the topics or categories I picked was service. And the first week, the website said, do something for people experiencing homelessness. And they included, I forget who it was, but they included a person who was already doing something for people experiencing homelessness, which was a really nice touch to it. And when we saw that, my dad was thinking really big. He said, why don't we rent a food truck and go all over Cambridge and Boston, which is, I live in Cambridge. And we should hand out food to people all over Cambridge and Boston. And as a 10-year-old, I was thinking a little bit on the smaller side. And I talked to my dad and I said, there's people that basically sleep right in front of our building, like where we live. Why don't we make them lunch instead? And so that first Sunday, we made 20 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with a granola bar, an apple, and a water. And we went out and handed them out. And one of the really special things about my lunches is that on every single bag that we put them in brown paper bags. There's either a special like message or drawing that is put onto them. The first week, me and my mom were the ones who decorated the bags, and they always say something really nice, like I'm blanking on what they
Eat and smile.
yeah, eat and smile, or have a great day, enjoy your lunch. Just really nice things, and it always tends to bring joy to people. And that's one of the amazing things about my project, is that I don't consider it necessarily just like a food project, just giving out food. I consider it a kindness project where my goal is to spread kindness to as many people as possible through my lunches. And since that summer, we've done almost, or about 15,000 lunches, which is definitely a lot for us. We've raised $65,000. And yeah, I that's pretty much everything, I think.
That's great. So, can you share how you're giving out lunches? Do you have like a stand or something? Like, do you go to the same place every day and do it, or do you just kind of walk around and see? Do people come to you to get them, or do you walk around and find people?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of ways that we give out lunches. One way is we have a smaller cloth and metal wagon that we take, and we stack bins on top of it, and we take it on a specific route that we go on to find people. And there's usually, we can fit about 75 to 100 lunches in that wagon. And then we have a really big wagon. It's electric powered, like solar powered. It runs on electricity. And it's able to carry a lot. 2,000 pounds. And we usually take that when we're doing hot food. So we'll usually go right in front of where we live, and we'll set up a table or a couple tables and chafing dishes to serve food on. We cook food right in our own kitchen. We make sure to wipe everything down, disinfect. When we're out there, we're wearing masks, we're wearing gloves, especially with COVID. We are very safe with everything that we do. But yeah, so we usually either take the wagon, or we will set up a sort of station to give them out. And almost every week, I have at least a few of my friends from school, or some family members, or recently it's been a little bit more difficult to find volunteers just with COVID and everything. But we usually try and get volunteers when we can. We've had Girl Scout troops come. We've had college students, companies, families, a whole bunch of different types of people. And those paper bags that I was talking about, we've had decorated ones come from at least all over the country, if not other countries. People have decorated them for us. There was a school out in Oregon, which is far from where I live. And they didn't even like tell us that they were making bags, and we actually saw a news article about it. And yeah, it was just a huge surprise. They sent us like 1,000 bags, I think.
Wow.
Like 500 decorated, 500 undecorated, and I think some socks too, which is something else we do. We during the winter time, we tend to make supply kits, or we get donated supply kits, and we'll give those out during the winter time.
So how did the school did they find you on Facebook or something? How did they know that?
Yeah, I forget exactly how they found us, but it was either through our website or from, yeah, there was back in December of 2018.
Yeah.
I was honored as a CNN Young Wonder, which is one of the awards that they give out at their CNN Top 10 Heroes that they do every year. So there's 10 adults and then 5 kids that they honor. I was one of those kids. And then CNN also broadcasted the Young Wonder stuff to their more school or education based channel, which is called CNN 10. A lot of schools actually will show that to their students. So I think the school probably saw us through there. And then, yeah, they sent us bags and yeah.
So somebody wants to know, if somebody wants to donate and offer this idea to their school, how would they do that? Would they go to your website and just find your address or something? Or do you have a procedure that people can go through if they want to bring this site? Like if there's teachers who are like, oh, I want my kindergarten class to do a service project, or older kids who want to present it to their school to do this, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so I just put our website in the chat, but
Okay.
yeah, you can contact us through our website or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those we receive messages from. And I have spoken to a bunch of different schools. I can't remember exactly which ones, but I have definitely done that.
Yeah, great. Well, good for
Yeah.
you. This is really inspiring to hear what you've done over the years and how you've inspired other people. And do you continue to do you plan to continue to do this through high school then?
Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to do this at least until the end of high school, if not past high school. I had the idea that maybe it could be sort of like a legacy project where I would pass it once I become old enough, I would pass it on to another kid that wants to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe it wouldn't stay Liam's Lunches of Love forever. The name might change, but it would still be the same idea
Yeah.
of spreading kindness.
I think that's great. And I love how you said, yeah, you want to get food to people, but you want them to know that they're loved and that they're cared about, and you want to give them encouragement. That's so important, especially with people being isolated with COVID and everything. So thank you for letting me write about you and for being here tonight. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, DJ Annie, you are up next. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi. Looks like you're in a car.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm coming home from basketball practice right now. A really busy week for me, but I am a DJ, I'm a rapper, I'm an author, I'm a motivational speaker. Most importantly, I'm an anti-bullying.
Oh, she just froze. Darn it.
It's
Oh, you're back, I think. You're back. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I'm a DJ, I'm a rapper, I'm an author and a motivational speaker, but most importantly, I'm an anti-bullying activist. So really, where that started was because I was bullied at a very young age because of the way I carry myself, right? The way my voice, the way I dress, the way I sort of carry myself and present myself wasn't really normal to a lot of kids, which bullying does happen a lot. I experienced it at a very young age, but I have always been connected to music and I've always had that passion, growing up with music in my household. So I bridged those two together from being an anti-bullying activist, and I made a song out of it. So I made a song, a catchy song, a rap song that gets stuck in kids' head, sort of spread the message of anti-bullying and to really tell kids they're not alone and spread my message. And from there, I wrote a book about bullying that's in Spanish and in English as well.
Yeah.
It's a children's book talking to kids about bullying and what happens. So I've been on this journey for a long time now, So because I'm 12 now, almost 13, my birthday is next week. So I've been on the journey for a long time. I'm trying to spread my message. I'm the current kid DJ for the Brooklyn Nets right now. So DJing is one of my passions right now. And I'm working on doing an anti-bullying panel. Last month I did a lot of work because um, October was anti-bullying month. So really spreading my message. I wanted to a panel like I did a couple years ago, talking to other kids about their experience with bullying and really spread the message to kids about, bullying is a really bad thing and not to deal about it, deal with it by themselves. So bullying has went up a lot because of COVID. Cyberbullying has went up a lot because you can stay behind a screen and sort of say really vulgar and mean things to people. So bullying has went up a lot. So really spreading that message even more in COVID times is super important now school is opening back up. So sort of keeping that same message and spreading that same message is really important to me. I do a lot of work in my community. I've gone to all over the US talking about bullying, LA, Pennsylvania, Alabama, and Alabama was really important for me to go there because they have a really big bullying rate and their bullying rate is super high, especially with suicide. So really talking to them was really important to me. I also received a lot of citations. I got a citation in Alabama and from Eric Adams, which is now the mayor of New York in Brooklyn, where I live currently. So getting a citation from him was really important for me to sort of keep spreading my message and keep doing what I'm doing. I've been featured in an H&M initiative about role models. So speaking and spreading my message and being featured in these sort of initiatives has really motivated me to keep spreading my message.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're in New York. How did you end up down in Alabama? How did that come about?
So I was invited there to do sort of like a tour, just go to 4 schools and talk to these kids about bullying. And they were high schools, I believe. So the really fun experience. I was 2018 or 2019. That was really like a fun experience at a young age, And they also, I forgot to say, March 21st is DJ Annie Red Day in Alabama at those 4 schools. So that's amazing. And that was something that was really fun and rewarding. So going to Alabama, I also went to LA, speaking to kids there. I was there doing a couple business initiatives and events and meetings. So that was really fun.
Aren't you intimidated go as like a 9-year-old speaking to like high school kids about that would be, I don't even know. I mean, getting up on stage and I mean, were you like up on stage in the gym, like talking to all these kids, or did you go classroom to classroom, or wasn't that like scary for you, or do you like doing that?
No, it was a giant assembly. And yes, like, you had like little tingles, but I had to kind of look at the big perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm spreading this great message to all these kids. So that was a really rewarding part. And also I got to perform my song and DJ for the kids. So that's my way of kind of bridging the two together by giving them a fun party-like experience, stepping away from the classroom, but also giving them an important message that they need to, keep with them and spread even more to their peers.
Wow, good for you. You are doing that's amazing and inspiring. So how can people hear your raps? Do you do DJing and put it on like Instagram and stuff, or how can do you have like a YouTube channel, or how can people hear your messages?
So I am on all platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Fanbase even, which is an up and coming app. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on everything at DJ Annie Red. You can find me on all socials at DJ Annie Red. I post some of my mixes on Instagram Reels, so you can watch those videos if they're over 60 minutes. I have a couple mixes there, and on YouTube as well. I post videos on YouTube as well. And thank you for putting that in the chat. So yeah, DJ Annie Red and everything on Facebook. I have videos of me talking on YouTube as well, and I post consistently on Instagram as well. So I post on everything.
That's great. So when did you adopt the name DJ Annie Red? And what is that? Where did that come from?
So DJ Annie Red was like a nickname that my parents had for me, Annie Red. They had for me as like a little baby. Like they just called me Annie Red, because my face was turning like super red. So it was like Annie Red. And my middle name is Ann, so it's like Annie Red, right? And so I had an afro, so like Annie the character.
Oh, okay.
So it was always Annie Red for a really long time. Once I went like, well, my dad's a DJ, so once I came to my dad saying, "Oh, I want to be a DJ," it was DJ Annie Red. It's like it just clicked.
Yeah, yeah, no, it does. It goes really well together. Does anybody have any questions for DJ Any Red? I mean, I know I asked you a lot of questions, but a lot of people are saying, love your anti-bullying message. Yeah, it is really important. And the basketball. Yeah, we have a lot of basketball fans in here. It looks like.
Yeah.
Keep spreading, yeah,
Oh,
keep spreading your messages because we definitely need that. Especially with like what you said with the cyberbullying people, and it's not just kids, adults, of course. do
adults
it
as
too.
well.
Oh,
The
yeah,
competition.
yeah. What were you gonna say? Were you gonna say anything or no?
Yeah, so two things. So a lot of basketball fans. I'm really happy there's a lot of basketball fans. So yeah, like I said, I DJ for the Brooklyn Nets. 18,000 people. I'm gonna be back there the 27th, DJing of this month. So excited for that. But I love the Nets. Yeah, the great team.
Somebody wants to know how you became a DJ. Like if they were interested in doing that, how could they get started doing that?
Okay, so yeah, so I had the privilege of having my dad as a DJ, and my dad kind of grew up. My dad kind of grew up in the hip hop scene because we live in New York. So hip hop was really like a big thing when he was coming up. Like my uncles and even my grandparents were kind of immersed in that scene. So I had the privilege of my dad. My dad can only teach me so much. So there is a DJ school actually in Manhattan that I went to, and I was the youngest graduate at like 9 or like 8 years old. Even I graduated from there, so kind of got like my degree in DJing. So that was really like a fun experience. I participated in DJ battles, but really the way you become a DJ, you can YouTube it. I like to call it YouTube University because you can literally find anything on YouTube. There's so many lessons on YouTube. So, there's simple lessons on YouTube. I recommend there's like a little DJ set that you can get and you can just plug it into your computer if you have one, sort of get the gist of it. You don't have to start off really big. It's really just like, getting into it, learning the software, which is super important. And that's it, you have fun with it and really enjoy it mostly.
Great response. We just have one more really good question that somebody asked, and then we're going to move on. But somebody this is a good question because I'm a teacher, and her question is, what can adults do to help stop kids being bullied? Because as a teacher, I've taught middle school for 5 years, then I went to elementary school, and I would always try to be present everywhere, like just be like where the kids are in the hallways. It happens a lot in the hallway, bathroom, bus, playground, where the teachers aren't. But if the teacher is not there and there's bullying happening, sometimes kids are afraid to tell adults because they think that they're going to get, it's even going to get worse because they're ratting people out. So do you have any advice for what adults can do to help stop bullying? Do you think like role modeling, like being kind, talking about kindness, or do you have other ideas?
Yeah, so I think it's really to sort of engage with, especially if you're a teacher, to engage with your students. Check in with your students, even on like a one-to-one sort of connection. Really talking to the kids and sort of getting a better perspective of what's happening is super important. Now, if you're a parent, like I said, also checking in with your kid is really important, and maybe buying my book will also help you with that. I talk about the effects of bullying in that book, about talking about disabilities, to teach what bullying is at a young age. So checking in with kids, and also if you're kids, check in with your friend. Talk to your friends about it, because it might be easier to talk to a peer than it is to a teacher or your parent. So if your peers knows, and if you're a peer that receives that information, to tell a parent or a teacher, you're not being a snitch. Kids sort of think like, oh, I'm being a snitch by telling. You're not being a snitch. You're just helping the situation. Yeah. So if you're a parent, reach out to your kid, talk to your kid, and get a better sense of what's going on. And that's it. Sort of connect and engage.
Great. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just be present, connect with them, and yeah, definitely. Somebody wants to know how they can get you to speak at their school. I'm going to let you talk, maybe message them in private so we can move on to the next person. But thank you so much for sharing and for being a part of the book series. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I know this is going a lot longer, but it's been so fun talking to these kids. Okay, so we have Galilea. Would you like to go next? If you're still here, where are you? Are you still here?
I'm right here.
Okay, I can't find you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Galilea Gonzalez. I'm 12 years old and I live near Los Angeles. And I give unicorns to kids in the hospital or with cancer. Well, mainly in the hospital. And I sell, not sell, sorry. I give kids that are in the hospital uni packages now. Because before I
Oh.
used to give kids in the hospital plush unicorns, sorry.
Mhm.
And because of COVID now, I'm giving uni packages. And how I get the money to buy the uni packages is I sell soap, bath salt, spray for good luck. And I think that's it. And what they have in the uni packages are like little toys, sometimes candy. What else? The plush unicorn, of course, sorry. Like little drawing things, crafts to do. Oh, and a little card, sorry. And I make.
Oh, so like inspiring messages,
Yeah.
encouragement, things like that. You make your own bath salts, right?
Yes.
And then you sell those at events, and then you use that money to purchase the supplies for your kids.
Yeah.
And then do you drive the kids over to the hospital and just drop them off, or what do you do with those?
We mail them off to them. Trying to remember. We mail them off, or if they're close enough, we drive.
Okay. That's great. And what inspired you to kind of get going down this journey, and what grade are you in this year?
I'm in 6th.
And you've been doing this since you were how old?
I was 6 years old.
So when you were
Yeah.
6 years old, what do you remember what inspired you to want to donate stuffed unicorns to kids who were in the hospital?
Okay, so I do remember. So my grandpa was in the hospital and he was sick. And so I drew him a unicorn, and after that he got better. So I was like, Mom, I feel so bad for everyone in the hospital. What can I do? She was like, I don't know, think of it. And so I was thinking of my whole project. It took like, I think it took like a month or more. I don't remember that much. But and then we figured it out, and that's how it started.
You learned how to make bath salts at
Oh.
Girl Scouts.
I learned how to make bath salts during Girl Scouts, and also I'm a Girl Scout too.
Great. Well, look, CJ, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
No, I was just raising my hand because I want to speak.
Tell them that you're also teaching them
I will add you to my list of people. I know it's getting super late. Okay, thank you for sharing, Galilea, and for being here and for letting me tell your story and telling us all about the inspiring things that you're doing to help those. Do you ever hear back from the people who get your kits, like the kids who get the unicorns or the kits or anything?
Oh, yeah, we get pictures or a thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
It goes on. It
Yeah,
goes on your
it goes
Facebook.
on my Facebook page.
Oh, okay. What is your can you put your Facebook page in the chat so people know
Yeah.
if they want to find out more about what you're doing? Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. Okay, so Dana wants to go next. She asked me a while ago, and then CJ, you can go after her. And then I know we've had people, Braden needs to go, and Winter, and Jason, and Addie, and so I'm sorry. I know it's taking a long time. I appreciate you guys being patient. So Dana, do you want to, if you're still there, do you want to log in and tell us what you're doing?
Yeah, oh wait, my camera is off.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, my room is dark. Sorry.
It's okay. Good to see you.
Yeah, so I'm the founder of Hi. I'm the founder of my nonprofit Cookies for Cures, and we raise money to fund research into rare pediatric diseases. So it started when I was actually really little, and I went to speech therapy because I had a stutter. And I had a friend who also went, and her name was Mila. Eventually, I got better, but she didn't, and so years later, when I was 7, I heard from her again, and she had, and well, they had found out she had gotten a stutter that had just gotten worse and worse and worse. She had been diagnosed with a rare and fatal disease called Batten, and I decided that I needed to help. So I brainstormed lots of different ways, and I ended up doing cookie bake sales, and started off with a goal of $1,000, and it took me 3 months to get there. But then I started being more and more known. And by the end of the year, I had raised $56,000 and helped find a treatment for Mila's form of Batten.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're raising money by baking cookies and then you sell them on your website? Or do you do events and sell them, or do you do both of those things?
Since I recently moved, this year we're focusing more on like online stuff like auctions. Yeah.
Okay. Auctions, like, what do you mean by that? How do people do that?
Usually we go and if someone else is hosting an auction, we'll go and have like a cookie basket.
Oh, I see. And then people can bid on your basket and then that money goes toward your foundation.
And yeah, the cat has nothing to do with it. He's just my buddy. This is Dexter, my favorite animal.
Oh, Dexter, yes. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dana, for sharing. You're doing amazing things. And she's coming up and then, oh, Brayden has this. Oh, look at that cute little dog. Oh my gosh. You guys with your pets. Okay, CJ, I told Brayden he could go next. Is that okay? Before I told you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Brayden. So what kind of dog is that you have there?
So this is a stumpy Jack Russell Terrier, so his legs are very short, and so he is like a corgi, but he's a Jack Russell.
Okay,
and he's
so
my everything.
he's pretty cute. So why don't you tell us about where you're from and how old you are and what you're doing?
Oh, just trying to go for my dinner. Okay, so nobody. Okay, I'm Brayden Frazier. I'm 12 years old now, and I live in Hickory, North Carolina, and you've obviously met my best friend Cooper. And ever since I started noticing homeless people when I was 3, because I'm pretty sure everybody's when there was 2 was like brains haven't developed fully yet, but you're maturing up by 3. So I started noticing it when I was 3, and I noticed a lady on the curb. No, this was when I was 4. I noticed a lady on the curb, and she was looking for spare change, and my mom didn't have spare change, but she did have her card. So we were right next to a Subway, so we bought her and her husband a 6-inch sub, and yeah, that's just really what led me to wanting to help the homeless and feed them, because a lot of these days, like, I will not give homeless people a certain amount of money. Like, I'll give them $1 or $2, because you never know if they're homeless, or if they are homeless, that what they're going to spend it on, like cigarettes or alcohol. So I would rather feed them, so I know that they're actually like getting their tummies full instead of feeding bad habits. So. And I recently, 6 months ago, I recently got my food truck, and I've done 7 runs already. Like 7 runs. I would say I get over $230 each run. So probably $1,400 already.
What do you mean by run? What do you mean by 7 runs?
So like I will go out and this is my system. I'm beating the system on like permits. So I'm like, okay, free food, but taking donations. And when people hear what I'm doing, I would usually charge $1, $2 per hot dog, but people are giving like $5 through $20 to help me continue my mission. And
yeah. Because you didn't charge a price, so then they're just giving out of the generosity of their own heart, which is really good.
Yeah.
So then you're taking that money. So your food truck isn't to feed the homeless, it's to raise money to give food to the homeless?
It is to feed the homeless. So I use that money to feed the homeless. So I would take that money and I would go out to Sam's Club or Costco, because I know everywhere doesn't have a Sam's Club and some of it's Costco, but I would go out to the Sam's Club and I would get like 6 or 7 packs of Nathan's hot dogs. And then I had this little mini air fryer cooker that I put them in. It's like a little convection grill desktop,
Okay.
and it cooks them so good. And I've only been able to do 2 runs for the homeless, because everyone's like, hey, can you come to Ashe County? Hey, can you come at a birthday party? Hey, and I'm actually doing a thing for a church this Sunday and a thing for my school on Wednesday. For the church, I'm having hot dogs, and for my school, I'm having grilled cheese and cheddar and broccoli soup. So
Wow. So are you going to continue doing this, do you think, like throughout school and doing the food truck and the feeding the homeless? That's great.
yeah, I try to level it out because I usually don't do it on weekdays. Now, in the summers, I will do it on weekdays or holidays, but during school, it's usually every Sunday or Saturday.
Okay. That's great. Good for you. It was great. And where did you say you're from again? North Carolina?
Yeah, Hickory, North Carolina.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, it was great meeting you. Thank you for hanging out with us and for sharing your story. Very inspiring. And yeah, that's amazing. What grade are you in? 7th?
6th.
6th grade. Wow. That's great. Thank you, Brayden. Okay. Bye. Thank you. All right. CJ, are you still here? Yes, you are. Go ahead, CJ. And then Jason, do you want to go after CJ? I know you've been here since like the very beginning. Thanks for being so patient.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, my name is CJ Matthews. I'm 14 years old and I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I am the founder of Blankets for My Buddies, an organization I started when I was 5 after my mother experienced a pregnancy loss. Something that I'm working on now is I have a book coming out next week on November 18th. And basically what that book's about is my story. I just told you my mother experienced a pregnancy loss. I had a hard time dealing with it. I needed something to cope.
Mhm.
And one day my mom asked me, after she would see me struggling, that if you could give a kid something, or if you could tell a kid something or give them something, what would you give them or what would you say? And I said I would give them blankets because they're warm, they're soft, and they give you a sense of security.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then what did you do from there then?
So after I thought about that, my mom and me set up a GoFundMe, and we wanted to raise money to buy blankets and to donate them. And so once we set it up, we raised about $10,000. And what we did with that $10,000 was we bought blankets and we donated them to children's hospitals, orphanages, and anywhere else that I thought that a kid or someone else was struggling.
That's great. I do agree that having a nice warm blanket wrapped around you, definitely, especially if you live somewhere a little bit chilly, but even anywhere, does give you a sense of security and comfort. So that was a really good idea that you had. Aren't you doing something now where people can make their own blankets too, like a do-it-yourself kind of blanket kit too?
That's the grant.
Yes, so that will really decide on whether I get a grant or not.
No, you did get a grant.
But I'm not really working on that right now. So
Okay. What are you working on right now? Are you just like busy
well,
with
I'm really
school?
more focused on advertising the book right now. So
Oh, that's right. What is the book called again?
it's called And Then There Was One.
And then there was one. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the chat.
On Children's Grief Awareness Day.
And yeah, it comes out on Children's Grief Awareness Day.
What day is that?
November 18th.
Okay, November 18th. Awesome. Congratulations. Now you're an author too. That's great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for letting me feature you and sharing your story. And you are actually on the cover of book 2 right there. So hopefully you'll get those books. We'll get the books soon, and you can read all about you in the book. And but people, you have a website, right? And you're on Instagram and all
Yes,
that too, so people.
you can find the book on goodgriefbooks.net.
Okay, Good Grief.
Yes, goodgriefbooks.net.
Goodgriefbooks.net.
And
Okay,
then you
great.
can find it on my personal website, blanksformybuddies.org.
Okay, and is it blankies with the number 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, for my buddies.org. All right, thank you so much, CJ. I know it's super late there right now, so I appreciate you hanging out. It was great talking to you, and you're doing great things, so keep up the good work. All
Thank you.
right, Jason, go ahead. Thank you for hanging out so long.
It's no problem. Hi, my name is Jason Kimberly. I'm a 15-year-old from Texas, and I am the founder of Leap for the Pooch. And pretty much I started this about 4.5 years ago when I was 11, when I needed a service project for an activity that I'm in, or a group that I'm involved with. And I've grown up with animals all my life. It's kind of what I'm passionate about. We had 5 dogs, 3 cats. He's one of our cats right there, and we actually rescued him off a bridge when he was a really tiny kitten. So, and he's been with us all our life. Or not all of our life, for the past, all his life pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
With Leap for the Pooch, I collect new and gently used items that can benefit an animal's life when it's in a rescue, shelter, foster, or sanctuary, such as blankets, treats, toys, leashes, all that stuff. And we've helped thousands of different rescue shelters, all those, and we've been working to impact the amount of homeless animals. And in Leap for the Pooch, we kind of have 3 different smaller projects. We have Pennies for Paws, which pretty much we started receiving money and we weren't sure what to do with it. So now when we collect money, it goes back to pay for the injured strays vet bills, since they don't really have anyone to pay for them. And there's a lot of shelters that don't get government funding, so they don't have the money to pay for them either. So we like to be the helping hand for them. We also, do you have something? That's what I was about. We have the t-shirt project, which I started back in 7th grade, where I will collect a different rescue t-shirt from all over the world, and I will wear a different rescue t-shirt every day to school to promote the amount of different rescue shelters and sanctuaries out in the world. And I've worn, so 180, 360, almost 700 something shirts.
Oh my God.
Different rescue in the world. Yeah, every day of school year. So that's fun. And then we have each rescue sanctuary or shelter send 2 shirts. One of them I wear to school to raise awareness to my peers, and the other one goes to a quilt that we auction off at the end of the school year. And both years we've raised around $10,000. So my t-shirt project as a whole has raised $20,000 in 2 years. And I'm really excited about that because I was able to give back to the communities that helped me raise awareness.
That's great. So can you tell me again how old you were when you first started doing this?
I was 11 years old when I started.
Okay. And if people want to learn more about you, do you have a website? I know you're on Facebook. Do you have
Facebook
a website?
is what we mainly use, Leap for the Pooch. And then we also have a website too. So it's www.leapforthepooch.com.
Okay, I put it in the chat. Hopefully I spelled it right. So if people want to help, they can maybe donate money so you can get supplies to give
money. We have an Amazon wish list.
Okay.
Just anything helps really. And then we also have the Save and Shine project. It's the last of the 3, where I would have people send me realistic stuffed animals. And once I got enough, I'd take them to an elementary school to have each kid like make an adoption form for it pretty much. Fostering, so they can learn about the fostering and adoption cycle. And then we take all the realistic stuffed animals to a care facility, nursing home, and we'd have all the different patients there come and pick out a different animal at an adoption event. So it pretty much teaches the younger kids about the adoption cycle while also making the patients at the care facility and nursing homes feel happy.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool. Wow, what a great program. Wow. So you have, how old are you? What grade are you in?
I'm 15 and I'm a sophomore.
So are you like working yet, or is this pretty much?
I'll be working pretty soon, so.
I don't know how you're gonna have time. You sound pretty busy with all this. What a great, yeah, what a great mission, definitely. So yeah, it's great. You took your passion and you're doing something to help with what you're passionate about. So it's not like it's work. It's like you're passionate about it, so you're excited, and it's just,
I love doing it. It just keeps me
I can
motivated.
tell. I can tell. You seem very happy. So that's great. Thank you so much for hanging out and for being in the book series. And yeah, it was great meeting you and talking to you.
Thank you
And
for
seeing
having
your
me.
little cat. What's your cat's name again?
His name's Bear.
Yeah, I just put him up.
She put him up, but
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
definitely.
Okay, so I think is Winter still here? Did she leave? I know she was here for a while. I feel bad that some people had to go because it was getting really late. But I think we talked to everybody who is here right now. So everybody who stayed till the very end, put something in the chat so I know that you're still here, because I'm gonna give something away for all the people who stay till the very end. So say something, say like, you know, your name, or say, yeah, there you go, here. That's a good one. And then yeah, I'm blown away too, Melinda. I'm like, this has been, I know it was like almost 2 hours, but it is a really good use of time. I feel like I'm gonna take this video and get permission from the people who are on it, and hopefully share it on somewhere like on YouTube or something, so the people that weren't here can watch it. Because these kids, they're just, all of you are just so inspiring. No matter how much you're doing, it doesn't matter. You do one little thing and you can change the world. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Thank you for supporting this book series and this mission. And we will do another book launch definitely in the future, where we can meet hopefully more of the kids. Maybe I can do it like a little bit earlier or a different day of the week or something, and more kids can come. But I'm really happy that a lot of kids showed up and were able to tell all about their different mission that they're doing. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. And I will see you on Facebook. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.